Welcome everybody to TMXing Adventures. My name is Lisa Keegan, and you know what? This week we are doing all things preserving in our Thermomix. Now this can be done on a TM5, TM6, TM31 or some other thermo cooker, and I'm going to step you through the recipes today. Let me know if you'd like the downloadable recipe card because I can send that to you as well. So you can see here, this is put on my TM6 with the Cookie Dough 3.0 version where you can actually upload your own recipes. It's called My Mum's Cucumbers because this recipe my mum has been making for very many years. Those of you who are watching along, you know that in the past I've called it Lisa's Cucumbers. So I'm going to show you today how easy it is to do the pickling in your Thermomix. It is as simple as a handful of ingredients that I think you've probably got in your pantry, and as little as a couple of minutes at your Thermomix, a big gap of time while it's cooking, and then it's done, ready to jar up. So let's get started on this recipe. So start cooking. Now I'm making a very large batch. I have quite a significant number of these beautiful cucumbers. So first thing it asks for into the bowl is 1,000 grams of white vinegar. So going to click on that, up comes my scales, and 1,000 grams, as you know, is 1 litre. So into the TM we're putting 1 litre or 1,000 grams. Now this is going to give you a very big batch. I'll show you how much goes in a minute, and I'll even weigh it for you. I don't think in the past I've ever given you a weight measurement, but I'll give you a weight measurement today of how many cucumbers you can actually fit in to this step. So now we're going to go next, and we're going to add 500 grams of sugar. So it really does have that sweet vinegar tang to it. It's beautiful. If you like beetroots, canned beetroots, that's kind of, I know we're doing cucumbers, but it's that sort of outcome with that sweet sourness to it. All right, 500 grams, up it comes. It is a lot of sugar. You're not drinking it, it's okay though. You're preserving it. And if you preserve these well, they can sit on a shelf for years. Like, it wouldn't be an issue. As long as they're sealed up well in a sterilized jar, these will last for a very long time. Now I use raw sugar, any sugar. I don't know about alternative sugars, but as far as caster sugar, those sorts of things, that'll be fine. Okay, now we've got 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds. Now I have in the past used whole grain mustard instead, and it's worked perfectly fine as well. But these days I do have my mustard seeds. So 2 teaspoons mustard seeds, in they go. Then we've got in there 4 tablespoons of salt. There's that sweet salty vinegarness to it. So 4 tablespoons. Don't be too particular. It really doesn't matter too much. This is all going to come to the boil in a moment before we then add in our beautiful, cucumbers. Just wait and see where they go in. And 2 teaspoons of turmeric. Now beware, your turmeric may stain your bowl, but you know what? We put it's not the bowl, it's the lid, and we just put that out in the sun, and it will take that fluorescent yellow out of it. So it's no big deal. It's a sign of a well-loved Thermomix. Then we've got it now bringing it to the boil, as I made mention to. So before we add these in, it needs to come to the boil. It's going to take about 10 minutes to bring that 1.5 litres of liquid in there to the boil. Now, if you're following along, you've got a TM31, TM5, TM6 with no 3.0 or even a thermo cooker. You now want to put 10 minutes, your hottest temperature, to bring it to the boil, and speed 1. Now it can go forwards on speed 1 at this point, doesn't need to go reverse. However, later on, it then needs to go reverse because we'll be adding our cucumbers in once this is at the boil, ready to go. Now, if you're going to use this video to cook along, now is your time to slice up your cucumbers. You want them in strips, little strips, okay? About 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil in size. As consistent as you can, but however it comes. My kids often do the dicing and slicing here, so they can be a little bit hit and miss, and it works perfectly fine. The other thing you'll need, as I made mention, is a couple of sterilized jars ready to go as well, because if you can put these in hot with the liquid over hot and put the lid up, it'll actually pop that lid down and keep shelf safe then for you instead of having to put it in the fridge. So I'm going to come back in 9 and a bit minutes, and I'm going to show you the step of adding the cucumbers. I'll give you a weight with the cucumbers as well at that point in time, and then there's one more step after that before we're done. Do remember to subscribe and share share this channel with your friends and family who have Thermomixes on the bench. I'd love to know that everyone is getting more and more out of the Thermomix investment, because there is so much our Thermomix can do. So please don't be a stranger. If you've got questions, things I can help with, please do reach out. I'd love to help you. Otherwise, I'll see you in 8 and a bit minutes to do the next step. See you soon. Okay, welcome back, guys. My Thermomix has actually now reached that time in about 6.5 minutes. It has now got to Varoma temperature really close to. You can see there it's 90 degrees, aiming for Varoma. Keep an eye on your Thermomix or your TM cooker that you're using, because it may well get to temp faster than the 10 minutes that's on that timer. So use that as a bit of a guide, 10 minutes, or even if you want to walk away. That's the beauty of cooking with the Thermomix, right? We can literally leave the kitchen and know it's all going to be a-okay. So feel free that if you can hear your Thermomix boiling and it's up to 98 degrees, ours is at 90, it's nearly there, then do stop it early, that you don't have to wait the whole time through. But I can hear mine pushing that heat up. Now, a couple of things that are going to come in handy for this recipe. I mentioned jars. A slotted spatula is going to come in really handy, and I've got a silicone one here so it doesn't damage my stainless steel bowl. At the end, and even now when we're putting something, we're going to want to, scoop in that bowl, and that's where this comes in super handy. So if you've got one of these, it's going to save you trying to muck around with spoons trying to catch the bits of cucumber. Now, while I've got one more moment here before this goes off, one thing about the thickness as well. You may find you need to adjust your cook time 2 minutes more or less depending on your thickness that you cut. If you are cutting very big, it's going to cook a little bit longer to those that are really thin. So just a little note as well. As I said though, mine is about the 3 mil-ish. If you're doing that, this timing will work for you perfectly. So I can hear that's done. I can hear that's boiling. It's actually 95 degrees, aiming for Varoma. I'm going to stop it here. Now, let's just push the silver dial to stop. The little arms open, and it says close the selector, so off we go. And now we go onto the next screen. Once boiling, we're going to now carefully remove our lid. Now we are working now in a hot bowl, so we need to be careful. You want to add your sliced cucumbers. Make sure they are fully submerged. So your amount of cucumbers really depends on how big they are and how much space you've got in there. We need to be mindful of our maximum line as well. I'm going to bring up the scales today just to give you a bit of a guide. I think I said 3 to 4 in the original recipe, but this will help guide us a little bit. Now I'm placing them in carefully using my slotted spatula. Oh, hang on, where'd those scales go? Close that up. Scales. There we go. So this will give you a bit of an idea as to how much cucumber you can put into it. There's no need to break them up. They'll break themselves up in there. But you do want to make sure they're submerged, and obviously it doesn't go over your maximum line in there for whatever your bowl is. So in this goes. Now that you'll notice this next step, we actually stop it and we stir it, and then we come back to it. What I found is because we're working on such a large quantity in here, if you don't do a stop and a stir, the top ones will still be crispy and the bottom ones will be translucent. It's the translucentness is that you're actually looking for to tell you that it's done. And I'm going to pick up this camera in a minute. I'm going to show you actually how full my bowl is so you can have a bit of a rough idea. I think this was for us 3 large cucumbers from the garden. And I think it works with any cucumbers. We've done it with apple cucumbers, Lebanese cucumbers, the standard really long ones that they put in plastic in the supermarket. These are fresh from our garden though. So I'm going to show you what's happening up here. That's 600, I reckon 650. I threw a few in before the scales were up. Oh, can I reach? There we go. So what we're going to do now is just push these down, make sure they're all covered, submerged in water. There's one little one left in there. Okay, so that's done. Now we've got a cook time. So let's come back to here, close this screen off, go next. And now we've got 10 minutes of aroma, reverse, speed 1. Now reverse is important. If you are not using guided recipes, which most of you probably are not, I can't stress enough, don't forget reverse. Otherwise you're going to sacrifice some of those in the bottom to those blades. So 10 minutes of aroma, so it's boiling, and slowest setting you've got, whatever that is, and reverse. Off that goes. You'll see the temperatures drop to 75. It'll buffer quite up. It will come back up quite quickly. That's not an issue. Then we're going to come and stir it, and I'll return to that step real soon. So I'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. We've just finished the 10-minute cook time. So it was 10 minutes of aroma, reverse, and the slowest speed you've got. Now we need to actually stir with the spatula. Now why we do that, as I may have mentioned before, that you'll find the top ones are not translucent yet. They are kind of soft but not see-through, whereas your bottom ones, if you turn it over, you'll notice there's a difference between your top and your bottom ones. Your bottom ones are translucent. What we need to do now is give it a 5-minute longer cook time. So just give it a little stir and then put that lid back on, and we're going to do 5 minutes of aroma, reverse, and your slowest speed again. What this will do is give those ones that aren't yet cooked through the chance to be cooked through. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to show you how to decant it into your jars and seal them up ready to cool and store away for future use. So do let me know if you're enjoying these videos. Do let me know if there are videos you would like me to share going forward. I do have some other ones in the works to help you preserve the foods you either grow or have an abundance of, or maybe you just enjoy and you want to make it yourself rather than buying it. So I'll see you in 5 more minutes to finish this recipe. See you soon. Okay, this is about to finish up. 6 seconds until we're done, and these are going to look absolutely beautiful. I've got a couple of jars ready. It's probably going to fill more than these jars, but let's see how we go. So first thing I need to do is, oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Let me just show you. In here, you can see, a bit short on the lead. There we go. Look at that. They're done. You can see how translucent they are. They look absolutely delicious, but they also look super duper hot. So this is the part I say handle with care. What we're going to do is now put them carefully into our sterilized jars. So using a slotted spoon is best, and we're going to just lift it up and put it in. We're going to fill these jars to about 1 centimeter under the top. So not under the lid, but under the line of under the lid, if that makes sense. And then we're going to put the lid on. Now it is worth making sure that the lid is sealed well. So to do that, if you really want these to last, try not to drop them on yourself. They are really super duper hot. However, on that note, you do want to actually pack them while they're hot, because that's what's going to seal in the goodness and make them last. So I'll show you what we're doing here. But what I was saying about the seal, and making them last, is you want to make sure your seal is clean at the top. Now you don't have to use these sorts of jars that have the band on them, like I'm going to use today. I'm going to use this style that have the band. Okay, you can just use reuse a jar if you'd like. What you want to do if you want them to last though is put a bit of vinegar on a cloth and rub it around the rim of your jar before you then put on your lid. Okay, and then the top. But before we do that, let's put a bit of liquid in here. Now I haven't completely removed all of these. I would suggest removing them all into the jars before you do this next step. However, I want to show you how to finish off. So in with this goes. I'll try not to let any of those others go in. Let that go down. Probably a little bit too much liquid in mine. Okay, just a little bit too much. You want to allow for a little bit of expansion. So you can see there, just get you a little bit higher. Probably gone a bit high. I really want it to be a bit down here. But anyway, for today, that'll do. Vinegar on a cloth if you want to make it last really long. On goes that. And then we just screw this one on. Now it doesn't have to be a fancy jar. You can just use a recycled jar from your tomato paste or whatever you'd like to use. I do find those with the little pop tops, those type, you'll know when it's sealed because it'll actually pop down into place and it'll suck down as it cools. So there is how you make homemade pickled cucumbers using really basic household ingredients in your Thermomix super quickly. Now, if you've got any questions along the way with this recipe, I'm here to help you. Do check out the comments for the letting me know if you want to get the downloadable link, and that'll be there as well. And remember to share this with your friends and family. Share the jar that you just beautifully made, or share the link to these videos, or cook for them and then tell them about your Thermomix and how easy it is to do things in your Thermomix in your kitchen. They don't know the secrets of your kitchen unless you tell them. So please do be that one to share that news with them. And then I'd love to support them to get one and get the most out of it. You can find me using the QR code there on your screen. So do go there, check out my website, check out the resources, subscribe there to get on my mailing list. But otherwise, I'll be back for another video soon on how to get more out of your Thermomix. My name's Lisa Keegan from Thermomix Adventures. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.